as this is the ODI components in the ODI studio, as we can all this going to be connected to my repository, and this is my designer navigator which uses my work repository, operator navigator which uses my work repository, where we can able to see my execution logs, and this is my topology navigator where we can able to define my infrastructure, security navigator where we can able to define my security related objects like profiles, users, and the privileges we can able to define here. And agent is a runtime component mainly in my ODI, which is going to start my integration process with the help of this agent. And this agent is a lightweight Java program. And design time, the developer is going to generate the scenarios. The scenarios contain the compiled code we are going to have it. And the agent responsibility is to connect to the data servers and send the code for the execution on my data servers. And the agent, where you can able to use it for my on-demand jobs, we can use it, and even the scheduled jobs also we can use an agent. And whereas the internal one agent is there, that can be used only for the on-demand scheduling things which cannot do it. As if you want to do the execution of my scheduled jobs, I need to configure the agent is mandatory. And as we have mainly three different types of agents, we have standalone agent, co-located or Java enterprise agent, whereas a standalone agent which is going to be run as a standalone, and where we can able to have that agent. Generally the standalone agent we use in the development, whereas the production we use a Java enterprise or co-located agent we use it. As if we had the Java enterprise agent only, we have the ODI console and all those stuff we are going to have when you have the Java enterprise agent.
That
And my
this
report,
sorry, Prem. This standalone
yeah,
agent will come by default with the ODI installation.
like we are seeing, no, when you go with the one is enterprise install we have, one is the another install like mm, that install if you go, we'll get the standalone agent, we'll have it. When you go with the enterprise install only, we are going to have the both the agents standalone and as well as a Java enterprise agent we have it.
Ah, yeah, I remember. Yes, yes.
Generally development we use the standalone, production we go with the Java enterprise. By that we have the ODI console, enterprise manager, and everything we are going to have.
Okay.
And the repository which we have, where we have the master repository and the work repository we have, and where we can have the source and targets. It can be the different source and targets we can connect through the help of the JDBC drivers.
In this, usually most of the company co-located agents they won't use, right?
Yeah, they won't use, yeah. As
Okay.
in between, they're given between the standalone and the Java enterprise, they have provided the co-located, but no one, mostly we don't use that.
Okay. And one more thing, Prem, the company where I'm joining, they are depending on 70% on the EBS. So assuming that I'm assuming the ODI is an on-premise only they are using. Is that true?
Yeah, generally EBS, if they're using EBS on premises, they're using even the ODA also they will be using on premises.
Okay.
Unless
Okay.
unless the target is the ADW, for example, autonomous data warehouse, or we want to get into the ERP cloud. Unless that, they're not going to use it. Like, what
So
is your target? What is it? The source? I agree. EBS on premises. What is where is the target?
target will be all EPM applications like
EPM on
FCCS,
on
EPBCS.
yeah, EPM on cloud or EPM on cloud or EPM on on premises.
EPM on cloud.
Okay. If EPM on cloud, they have a different options to use it out. They may be use a
Mm-hmm.
standalone agent, they may use it, or EPM cloud itself, we have the data pipelines which we have where that can be used to load the data.
Mm-hmm. But still they are using on-premise ODI only, right?
No, no,
I'm
no.
just assuming
That,
because I
yeah,
do
no,
not know
no,
till I.
that's what EPM. If it is a EPM cloud, if it is an EPM cloud, they don't
Mm.
use that ODI. They don't use at all. ODI Studio won't be there. They are wrapped under the pipelines, and where we are going to execute the pipelines to load the data.
Yeah, but the what I heard is ODI they have. They are running the target applications pipeline from the ODI. So in this case, even though ODI is on premise, still they can able to execute pipeline from the cloud, right? I'm just
Yeah,
because as 70% they are depending on the EBS. It's best practice to ODI also should be on premise, right? I'm just getting your confirmation.
it is not compulsory because
Okay.
even I can have the ODI marketplace. Like ODI
Mhm.
marketplace is the one which is on the cloud, OCA
Okay.
cloud, where the ODI is available on the cloud, and we install a agent to read the data from your on-premises one. With help of that, we read the data from your on-premises EBS, and we can load the data into your EPM cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And ODI
Okay.
and ODI and ODI is the marketplace.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Or
I need
yeah,
to check
yeah,
it out.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Or we can use EPM cloud itself. We have a functionalities available to loading of the data from the EBS.
Okay. And this one is yeah, I that is I double confirmed prem. These people are not using this integration agent. They are not using. I just checked with them. They are using this as a ODI as a middleware tool, and maybe transformation. And I just heard something on this, as you said, data warehouse.
Data warehouse.
What is this,
This
Prem?
is,
Is it
this
cloud database?
yeah, yeah, cloud database. Yeah,
Okay. But it is also same, right? Even though it is cloud, the functionality was same only, right?
yeah. The
Um,
database. Yeah, it's instead of on-premises, it's the cloud database.
mm-hmm. Means
By that you know
where hmm.
yeah, by that you no need to manage the database. You no need to upgrade and no need to do the installation of the database. As if you want to add the nodes, we can add the nodes and all the stuff we can do it out. It,
Mm-hmm.
only we are going
Okay.
to yeah.
Installation headache won't be there. Everything will be taken care. Like it's kind of SaaS product.
Yes, correct.
That's okay. That's uh,
As a Java
okay.
enterprise agent and as a Java enterprise agent I'm using because the reason we can able to use it for the high availability
Yeah.
and as well as we can have the multiple agents I can create and I can do the load balancing and connection pooling.
And generally, these agents are some two, three, four, five. Some I used to see some levels.
Yeah,
Where
multiple agents we can have and we can cluster
mm-hmm.
those agents.
Mm-hmm.
By that it can be useful for the failover or as well as it can be useful for the load balancing.
Okay.
As we can have the standalone agent where it was going to read the details from my repository, and it was going to send the code to my source and targets, and those execution things it was going to write as a report in the repository. By that, operator was going to read from the repository the execution logs.
Okay, the agents will write in logs into repository and operator reads from the repository. Okay.
And in the Java Enterprise isn't where we can have the ODI console, we can have as a browser based, where we can able to see my execution logs, we can able to see it.
Agent always writes logs to work repository, right? Rather touching the master repository.
Yes, correct. And as an enterprise manager, Fusion middleware control, we can use it, and this can be used to start and stop my agent and do the administration activities of your agent, which we can able to do with help of the enterprise manager. This is the cloud control. Is a third part. It is another application, as we need to have a license for monitoring it. As we have the master repository and we have a work repository, we have under one master repository we can have the multiple work repositories we can have. As if you see
Okay.
any work repository, it is attached to the one master only. It was going to attach.
Okay. Only one it is having. Okay.
And whereas the production repository generally will have only the scenarios we are going to have, as we call that repository as a execution repository. If you remember, when you are running your RCU, we have given the D for development, where we can able to define the objects like your mappings, procedures, and all those packages and all those. But whereas in the execution repository, it contains only scenarios.
Only
Generally, in
scenarios.
the
Okay.
the scenarios is nothing but the compiled code. Like as if you see the C program you have written, where the C program compiled and we have an executable file without having a source code, we can use an executable file to achieve that particular program code, whatever it is going to do it. But as if you want to modify, I need to go to the source code and again I need to modify it. And I need to compile and generate an executable file, and again I can use that executable file to achieve that particular logic. In similar way, whereas the scenarios will contain the compiled code. By that production, I will move only the scenarios, I move to the production. By that, if you want to make any modification of the logic, if you want to do, or if you want to create the new objects, I cannot do it in the production. I need to come back to my development environment, modify or create those object definitions, generate the scenario, and send the scenario, migrate the scenario to the production repository. By that, all the time the production repository contains only scenarios, no other object definitions can stay.
Okay. Okay, Prem. Understand.
For example, as we had a testing environment, also we have under one master, where I have the multiple repositories, we have development, testing, and as well as the production repository. Sometimes my network of the production is isolated from the development. Mostly, most of the cases, my network is production network is different to my development network. If the case of that, generally it will be like this only. If the case of that, I need to have the another master, because from the development master I cannot connect to my work repository of my production, I cannot connect it. Then what we require to do, we need to have the another master we required for my production as well.
Okay. Okay. So production
Generally,
master separate and development master separate.
development and testing master is a separate, because the development and testing can have in the same network, but generally the production won't be in the same of your development and product testing network.
Okay. To
In
give
that,
the more bandwidth.
yes, more bandwidth, and the production to security and all those. As generally the production networks are the different to your development networks.
Okay.
And we need to create the master repository and the work repository, and as we need to have the database user we require to have, and as we use this user to create this master repository and the work repository. They have the two, as I told, we have two different ways. One with the RCU, repository creation utility, as we have run that with the help of that we have done, and we are able to create my master repository, and as well as the work repository we are able to create it. But as it is created, only the physical schema is only one schema is created. Under that only it created the both master and work repository. This is an RCU which we run, and we are given the database details, and we create it, and next we are able to configure the connection, and we are able to connect to the things. And if you want to create a new work repository, if you want to create one more work repository, go to the repositories and right click on your work repository, and I can create a new work repository. And if I want to export my repository, I can go to my topology. Like this, you can go. Here I can use an export option, and I can able to export my master repository which you want to export it.
Even export can also be done from ODI Studio itself.
Yeah, ODI Studio itself, I can export it.
Okay.
And I can import it. For example, one ODI Studio environment to the another repository, you want to do that. I can export and create as a zip file and go to the other environment and import it from the zip file.
So it is always done in the topology. Yeah.
And if you want to create a new work repository like this, we can able to create the new work repository I can create. While you're creating a new work repository, I can tell what type of work repository it is, we can tell.
Okay.
And if you want to change the password of the work repository, we can change the password of the work repository.
In what case we require new work repository, Prem?
Like as I told, we have a development and the test environment.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Okay.
as I want to have the two different repositories which I want to maintain. One for the
Mm-hmm.
development, one for the test. Or we want
Mm-hmm.
to have the one more for the production.
Okay. And then from the single ODI Studio, we can create the multiple work repositories. Even we can
Yes,
switch over from one to another, right? On the same
yes,
ODI Studio.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Connect to the system. Cancel it. We saved it yesterday, but anyhow, cancel this. Go with the properties and save it. Save. Don't save. Now connect. Now in the chart window, I have given you the one script. For example, you select the first one. We are creating one user as a SNP M1. The first line, the first two lines you select, execute that. Now what happened? As it is created a user, SNP M1 one user is created. Now run the second script. Yeah, yeah. Only up to semicolon. It is giving the privilege connect and resource privileges as giving to that particular user. Now available master repository user is available. Now you go to the ODI Studio, launch ODI Studio.
Okay. As you created this user, I won't be seeing separate schema in the here.
If you go
Is
expand the system,
hmm,
expand the users. Down you can see the users, other users. In that list, you can see this SNP M1. You can see.
this one? Okay, this is the
As of
one.
now,
Just no.
SNP. Yeah, if you expand the tables, only the empty user we created.
Okay, without any tables. As of no empty user. Yeah.
Now go to the ODI Studio, launch ODI Studio.
Okay. And one more thing, Prem, what I understood was whenever in a Oracle, whenever we create a user, indirectly it is understanding that Oracle perspective we are creating the schema. Is it true? If
Yes,
I
correct.
create a user, okay,
Yes, correct.
okay, but if it is true, okay, then I could not able to see that user as like how system I am able to see. But I could not able to see this as a schema from the top left tree here.
You can
It's
create. We
not
need to create a new connection. You need to create a new connection
okay.
symbol.
You means I just assumed that whether my understanding correct or wrong, system how I am seeing the same icon will come like another user. Is that true or wrong? Now I am
If
able
you
to
want,
see the
we need to
system like
create that. What this, that is the connection name.
Understood, understood. Okay, we need to create the connection new connection name using this okay, using this username, right? Here we need to
Yes,
give this
correct.
new username. Then only I can able to
Yes, correct.
see. Okay,
Yes,
thank
correct.
you. Hmm.
For
Let me
example,
go
now
to
let me create one more
Mhm.
connection. We'll create one more connection also.
Okay,
Go with the plus symbol,
okay,
dev underscore OD underscore repo. You give the name, any name we can give it, but I'm giving the name dev underscore OD underscore repo.
okay.
That is the same repo, REP. Okay. You copy that and use the same username. No, no, not the button, the checkbox. Yeah. Click on yes. Click on yes. No problem. Click on yes. Check this save password checkbox we need to select. No, go to your SQL developer. Save password checkbox is select.
Checkbox, yeah.
On service name you go. Now you can see the new connection. Expand that. Tables, expand the tables. All these OGG tables are the Golden Gate tables. And down we can see some tables as the SNP tables. Those are the ODI tables.
Mm-hmm.
They're only all the objects we are defining in the ODI studio. Those definitions was going to be stay in these tables.
Okay, okay,
As of now, we not created any object definitions. No, no, we won't have the records. But when you create any objects in the ODI studio, those definitions was going to be stored in these tables. Generally,
okay.
directly we don't access these tables. But if you want to have, we can write the select queries. Insert statements we don't do or update statements, but we can use the select query to retrieve those object definitions. We can use some select queries. We can use it.
For our reference.
Yes, correct. And as the
Mm.
both master repository and as well as the work repository definitions both stays in this dev underscore OD underscore repo schema only.
Okay, okay. Yeah, both sharing the same schema. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For now, for example, now you go to the ODI Studio. Now connect to the repository. Now we are connecting to the master repository. Store passwords without secure wallet. I am not using a wallet. Generally, we'll use a wallet. Again, it will ask the password. I want to avoid that. Click OK. Go to the system tab.
System tab.
Already the
Yeah.
tab already the top, the tab is the before dev underscore right side. You can see the before the dev underscore ODI underscore repo tab. We can see the system. Yeah. Now you are creating a new one. You can see before the system one. You can see another system where the query which you executed. You can see.
Yeah. Okay. So identified by the password. Uh, we specifically
That means
pass.
the password is password itself.
Okay. Okay.
Because the script create user snp1 identified by password. Identified means go to the topology navigator. Can you see the top drop down one icon is there, like factory icon is there. Go to the menu, file menu, new. Can you see which one we need to run?
Create a new master. Yeah, this second one.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Can I click on OK? Import a master
Yeah.
repository.
Okay, make me the presenter. We'll discuss some topics. We'll discuss.
Okay.
Let me discuss this topology concepts. In the topology navigator, we are going to define my infrastructure. What are the sources and targets you want to connect? We are going to define them. As you can see, the physical architecture, we have a different technologies we have. As we can able to tell which technologies you want to use, we can use those technologies. And how these technologies we are going to connect with help of the JDBC drivers, we are going to use it to connect to those technologies. We are going to create in the physical architecture, we create the data server. Data server is the one we are going to define where our data was going to be stored in this data server. As this data servers, we connect with help of the JDBC drivers. Like the data server can be your Oracle database server, MySQL database server, or IBM DB2. Like this, we can able to define my data server under the technology we are going to define. We need to define the data servers in my topology navigator. Under the technology, we are going to define those data servers. Under the data servers, we are going to have the physical schema where as a schema which you require to access that we are going to define under my data server. And the physical schema, we are going to have the two schemas. We are going to have the data schema and work schema. The data schema, actually the tables was going to reside, the data tables. Whereas a work schema, the temporary objects which we create in the ODI, like a $E tables, $C tables, $I tables, like this, the temporary tables will be created for doing my integration process. Those tables was going to be created in the work schema. Nagaraj, are you there?
Yeah, Prem.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah.
I got it because the this is the yeah, one point, yeah, main important point where physical data schema is divided into data schema and work schema. Data scheme having tables and the real data, whereas The temporary tables are get created in work schema, which are start with $C or $I. Yeah.
And each data server, we have a physical schema. Now, for example, I have my requirement like this. I have two production sites. One is the Boston and one is the Tokyo. And we have the one is the MySQL, MS SQL server I have, and one is the Oracle database I have. Like this, this
Mm-hmm.
is the environment boxes which I have in my two environments, Boston and Tokyo.
Okay.
And as you can see, the Boston, we have the one SQL server, we have the two database schemas. We have one is the DWH, and the one is the purchase. Whereas the DWH and purchase is the SQL server, whereas an accounting and sales are in the Oracle.
Okay.
And even the accounting is in the 10C database, whereas the sales are in the 12C database.
Oh,
That so by seeing this picture, can you tell in the Boston how many data servers are required for the SQL server?
in the Boston, what is the question, Prem? In the Boston, how many data servers required in the
SQL server for the SQL server technology.
data server
MS
you are
SQL
trying
for
to share? By seeing this, wait. Um, okay, basically, as all are different, you can say versions. So three data servers are required.
the MS SQL, how many is required? MS SQL.
For,
I'm not asking for the Oracle. Only for the technology, MS SQL technology.
Boston,
Yeah, Boston.
MS SQL. Okay, MS SQL only one.
Yeah. And Oracle, we need to how many data servers required for the Oracle in the Boston?
Two.
Yeah, because one is a 10G database, another one is a 12C database.
Okay, yeah, understood. Yeah, understood, Prem. Thank you. Because as both are different technology. One is Oracle technology, another one is MS SQL. Yeah, it is MS SQL. We have the only one version. We need only one. As it is, we are having two versions. Okay, that's the reason we need the two data servers.
Total,
Okay,
yeah, two for the Oracle, one for the MS SQL.
okay, understood.
And if you see the Tokyo,
Okay, Tokyo, we have okay two for the MS SQL and Oracle we have only one, as it is having only one
version of the
version.
data. Yes.
Yeah.
That means as if we see here as what we understood, as the we need to have the Boston, we need to have the three data servers, and physical schemas are how many?
Physical schema for each data server, there has to be one physical schema. So now total three physical schema required
Three
for
or four?
Boston.
Three or four?
One second. I'm just checking. Yeah, here the schemas are two. So four physical schema.
Yeah. In the Tokyo?
Tokyo also four.
Yeah, correct. That means we need to have the three data servers, and as well as the four schemas are required in the Boston, and as well as the Tokyo also, we need to have the three data servers and four schemas. And
Yeah.
how what we do is we use a context we are going to create. As we have a context, one we'll have as a global, and we have the one as a development, one as a test, one as a production already created the context and given, and we can use those contexts we can use, and additional context if we want to create, we can create the context also. And how we are
Okay.
going to do, we are going to use this logical schemas, we are going to map to the physical schemas. By the design time we are going to use the logical schema, execution time we are going to use the physical schema.
Okay.
Design time I use a logical schema. But execution time, as I mentioned, to do it the Boston means it will go and do it my Boston so data servers the data will be loaded. If I tell to do it at my Tokyo, it was going to do it to load the data into the Tokyo. Or we have a development in New York is there, it throws to load the data into the development New York data servers, it loads data. That means the same job, I define only the once I define my job, but I'm going to, based on the context I tell, as the data loading was going to change to the different data servers. Got it?
Yeah, yeah. Means everything the single template where we want to do, we can change by using the context, which different environments.
Yes. That's reason a logical schema is the alias name for your physical schema to the particular context.
Yeah.
Now for the
And and
Boston
uh,
and
and always always logical schema is mapped with the context. Context is telling me whether it is a dev context or product context or test context.
correct.
So okay.
Now
So
how many
here. Sorry, Prem.
yeah,
Here,
get.
yeah. Here, whenever I assume that whenever I'm creating the logical schema, always one logical schema blended with one context.
Correct.
Okay. If I want to bind with the another context, so I need to create another logical schema for the another logical schema with the different context for the same physical schema, right?
Yeah. As they have two physical schemas, I have only the single logical schema.
Yeah,
For the
as I
two,
had the physical schema, you have the single logical schema. Oh, single logical schema can be
now
mapped
for
to physical schema. Okay.
for example, as you see this one, how many
Mhm.
logical schemas are required?
Uh, Logical schema with respect to if I understood in my way as you suggested, always logical schema banded with the environment. If I say yeah, one and two, only two logical schema is required.
For
Not
Oracle
three.
or for
No,
SQL
no,
Server?
no. For a SQL Server, one logical schema is required,
Only one.
and for our
We have
one second. We have two. Yeah, sorry, we have two physical schema. So for I'm just confused here. Two physical schema we have. So we need to separately. Yeah, each physical schema shares the independent logical schema. One more question
yeah,
to you.
yeah,
Uh,
independent. That means for the data warehouse, I need to have one logical schema. For purchase, I
mhm.
need to have one logical schema. For accounting, one logical schema. For the sales, one logical schema. That means the total how many logical schemas are required?
Four logical schema.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
And how
each
many?
physical schema will having at least one logical schema.
Yes, correct.
And 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 one more thing is uh, one physical schema can have multiple logical schema.
No, how it can be mapped?
Okay,
The same one. We can the same physical schema you can map to the multiple logical schemas. Yes,
okay,
I can create one more logical schema which maps to the same physical schema.
okay, okay. As a logical schema changes here with respect to yeah one logical schema with the dev context, another logical schema with the prod context. Is it true?
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's how
And
we can multiple. Okay.
generally, we create only single logical schema based on the context combination. The different physical schema was going to be accessed.
Okay. Best practice is different physical schema you were telling, right? So this never be best practice if single physical
Okay.
schema that remains
Okay, okay,
common,
okay.
but
You park these questions. We
okay,
configure in
okay,
the ODI studio. At the time when you're configuring, your questions get clarified as well.
okay, okay, Prem. Okay,
Like this, now we need to have the four logical schemas required to be defined. And for example, now we had one more context is there, development New York. And logical one, the design time we use it, whereas a physical one we are going to use at the execution time, at the run time.
okay,
As we have the context, we are going to give the mapping between my logical schema to physical schema. As I can create the logical schema where you are going to map my logical schema to physical schema. And as we need to configure my agent, and the agent we need to configure the connection details. This is a standalone agent, and another one is the Java Enterprise agent. Java Enterprise agent, we run this config command, and we are going to create the agent. And each environment, we need to have the one agent required to able to connect it. As each environment, we need to have the one agent required to have. Like in the development, one agent is required, Boston one agent, Tokyo one agent.
okay.
Now, for example, if you see if you see my development environment, it has to replicate my production environment. As the production environment, I need to have. Do you think how many data servers required to be defined in my development environment in New York?
Development environment, no data servers. Yeah, this is where we have two technologies. Yeah, two data servers we required.
For which technology?
Understanding. So
One for
okay,
one for
so
SQL, one for
yeah,
SQL Server, one for Oracle. You are telling, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But as if we see in the Boston, how many data servers we have for Oracle?
Yeah, we have two data servers in the
And,
Boston.
yeah.
I'm I'm
But
I'm talking
my
about New York. New York. So sorry, I
yeah,
told about the New York.
yeah. But New
Okay.
York also, as
Uh,
it has to replicate the environment in the Boston.
mhm,
Even though one data server is enough for my Oracle, if I define
mhm.
only one, I cannot able to replicate my Boston environment. For that, we are going to define the two data servers in the Oracle technology.
Yeah, as new environment is requirement is like that. Correct.
Because yeah, why? As the development environment has to reflect my production environment. Because the production, how many data servers we have for Oracle,
Two servers.
as to replicate that in the development also I need to configure the two data servers, even though one data server itself enough to do that one, but it is has to be done two data servers to replicate my production Boston.
Okay, okay, understood. Yeah, I got it. I got it now. As the production expectation, production replication expectation, in the development also we need to create the two data servers for
Yes,
accounting.
for Oracle technology, one is for accounting, another one is for the sales, like a two
Yeah.
data servers I'm going to create.
Yeah.
And for the SQL server, how many data servers required?
Only one.
And if you see your Tokyo, how it is?
Okay. To Tokyo. Okay. An environment is not mentioned, right?
Because my
To
production is both Boston and Tokyo are my production
production.
environments,
Okay.
and
So in
and
this,
my development has to replicate there. That means as
yeah,
a based on the Tokyo SQL server, how many data servers I need to
two,
create?
two data servers, and Oracle is one data server.
Yes.